Hi, I thought I would share with you some of the things that I've been trying out, and that's hand scrubs. Now, I've actually been doing hand scrubs for quite some time, and I've been experimenting with lots of different ingredients. The same basic ideas go for any scrub that you're making. You need to have something which is going to be an exfoliator, and you need to have something which is going to moisturise and soothe and feel quite good on your skin. So the recipe I'm using today is from this book. It's NYRO Beauty Book, and this particular recipe is called Gardner's Hand Scrub, the Gardner's Hand Scrub. And the ingredients that are in it, I've got most of them, and you possibly have quite a few of these yourselves, but I'll tell you some things that you could substitute if you don't have them. So what it's using is rosemary essential oil, olive oil and almond oil, ground rice and pumice powder. Now, the one that I don't have is pumice powder. However, the other day when I tried a variation of this, I made this particular scrub, which I don't know if you can see. I think I need a wee bit more light here. That particular scrub, I used Himalayan salt for that. So the Himalayan salt gives that a kind of slightly pinkish note to it. The Himalayan salt is really quite good for doing a scrub because it's got that nice scrubby texture to it. It's slightly coarser than the what you would have as table salt, but it's used in quite a lot of scrubs actually. Either Himalayan pink salt or sea salt is also used quite often. So this time, instead of the pumice powder, what I'm going to substitute is coffee grains. Now, this is an idea that I saw the other day. Somebody from Neil's Yard was demonstrating this, so I've seen Charlene doing this one with the coffee scrubs, and I've also seen now Katrina doing something with the coffee scrubs. So this is basically coffee, which we've actually used. It's bean coffee, and it's now just the little granules, so you've got just a little bit of scrubbiness there. So I'm going to use some of that instead of pumice powder. So basically it's a very, very simple recipe. You need some kind of bowl to mix it in, and basically you're just going to put all the ingredients together, mix it up, and there you have a nice hand scrub. So the first thing I need is 1 tablespoon of ground rice. Now, what I've done is taken this was brown rice, and I've put it into the grinder. So I've now got some ground rice. I'm going to put a tablespoon of ground rice in. And what I've discovered when I've been doing my own scrubs is that you don't need to be exact on the measurements, and you might want to kind of vary it. Maybe using a particular oil might make it feel a bit too slippy, so you put in a few more of the dry ingredients, so until you get a texture that really quite works for you. So I've got the ground rice in there, and then it's a teaspoon of pumice powder. So instead of the pumice powder, I'm going to use a teaspoon of the coffee grounds. So I'm going to put that in as well. So that's now the coffee grounds in there, and then I need a tablespoon of almond oil. So I've actually got some almond oil here. Now, almond oil is a really nice oil. Of course, you can't use it if someone has nut allergies, particularly almond. So just be careful. There are some other oils that you can use instead of almond oil if somebody does have a nut allergy. Almond oil is nourishing, it's anti-inflammatory, and it's quite good for conditioning. So I'm going to put a tablespoon of almond oil in. Beautiful oil. So that one goes in. Okay. And that's the almond oil, and then also now a tablespoon of olive oil. So you've probably got olive oil in the house. Now, if you don't have almond oil, you could just put in some extra olive oil. But what you'll notice about the consistency of olive oil is it's really quite thick, so it feels quite heavy, whereas the almond oil feels a lot lighter. So they're now all in my dish, and I'm beginning to mix that up, and to me that actually is a little bit too liquidy. It's just got too much of a liquidy feel to it. So what I'm going to do is add just a little bit more of the ground rice. So I'll add another bit of ground rice just to make that a little bit of a thicker mixture. So as I say, what I do personally is I just kind of experiment to see if I can get the texture that works for me. Okay, and the essential oil that is recommended in this recipe, which I actually like as well, is rosemary. Now rosemary is an amazing herb, and the essential oil is invigorating. It's one of those oils which will keep you awake and alert, so it's quite a good one to have around. It's also warming. It's really good for tired hands, which is why it's used in this hand scrub. So the recipe, the proportions, this is 10 drops of rosemary oil. So just turn the bottle up and let it come out by itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Oh, I can smell that already. I really like the smell of rosemary. Yeah. It's one of my favourite herbs for cooking, and I just love having this. Oh, that smells so good. So what I've got now is a fairly scrubby mixture, and what I'll do with this one is I'll just leave it beside the kitchen sink, so that anybody who's needing to have a scrub to get away some of the dirt. This particular scrub will help get rid of the dirt if you've been, that's why it's called a Gardner's Hand Scrub. If you've been out in the garden, it will clean up your hands, but it also make your hands feel nice and smooth. So my tip is I usually dampen my skin first so that it's just damp. Take a little scoop, rub it on both hands, in between the fingers, round the backs of the hands, and then rinse it off with some nice warm water and dry. And then put on a cream or a lotion, and you'll feel the difference immediately. Beautifully soft, clean, feeling really quite nice, and because of the rosemary you'll also get that invigorating smell. So it's from the beauty book, and I'll show you another one another time.